Well, the best game series you can play easily on a low-end PC? Here you go. First up, the legendary Call of Duty franchise. Starting with the original Call of Duty, the series quickly evolved with titles like Call of Duty 2 and broke new ground in modern military shooters with Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. We also saw intense battles in Call of Duty, World at War, and ramped up the action with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. The franchise even explored darker narratives with Call of Duty, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2. If your PC has at least 2 GB RAM, integrated Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU, you should be able to enjoy all these titles with adjusted settings for optimal performance. Next, we travel back in time with Prince of Persia. Known for its fluid parkour and engaging puzzles, the journey begins with the Sands of Time, followed by the darker warrior within and the dual-natured The Two Thrones. The adventure continues with the Forgotten Sands. A system with 2 GB of RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core processor should be sufficient to run these classics, especially if you dial down some graphics settings. Moving on to the explosive Battlefield series. From the tactical warfare of Battlefield 2 to the chaotic fun of Battlefield, Bad Company 2 and the expansive battles of Battlefield 3, this franchise has consistently pushed the envelope in multiplayer and realistic combat experiences. For a smooth experience, aim for a PC with at least 2 GB RAM, an entry-level dedicated graphics card or solid Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU. For fans of stealth action, Metal Gear Solid is a must-play. The original Metal Gear Solid introduced us to Solid Snake in 3D, and Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty brought Raiden into the spotlight. The series continued its legacy with Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes, merging stealth with open-world mechanics. If your system meets the minimum of 2 GB RAM, integrated Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core processor, these immersive stealth adventures will run well on your PC. Let's now explore the Witcher series. Starting with The Witcher, 2007, where we met Geralt of Rivia, the franchise has been celebrated for its deep narrative and RPG elements. The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings, 2011, upped the ante, and The Witcher 3 redefined open-world gaming with its rich storytelling and expansive world. These titles typically require around 2 GB of RAM, integrated graphics like Intel HD, and a dual-core CPU for a playable experience, though you might need to lower some settings on The Witcher 3. For fans of epic fantasy, the Elder Scrolls series is a treasure trove. Beginning with the massive world of Daggerfall, the series evolved through the cult classic Morrowind, the more accessible Oblivion, and finally the blockbuster hit Skyrim, celebrated for its open-world freedom and active modding community. A PC with a minimum of 2 GB RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU can run these games, especially if you adjust resolution and detail levels. Step into the post-apocalyptic world with Fallout. Fallout 2 expanded the narrative in an open-ended way, while Fallout 3 brought the series into 3D with its innovative VAT system. Fallout, New Vegas further enriched the Wasteland experience. These games are well optimized for lower-end systems, 2 GB RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU should suffice, with minor tweaks for better performance on later titles. For those seeking a challenge, the Dark Souls series is renowned for its punishing combat and deep lore. Begin with Dark Souls, Prepare to Die Edition, and then tackle Dark Souls 2, 2014, for an even more formidable experience. A system with 2 GB RAM, integrated graphics like Intel HD, and a dual-core processor will let you dive into these worlds. Just be ready to adjust settings to smooth out the experience. For speed enthusiasts, Need for Speed delivers adrenaline-pumping races. From Hot Pursuit 2 to the underground vibes of Underground, and through to Most Wanted and Carbon, the series offers diverse racing thrills. Later titles like Pro Street, Undercover, the reboot Hot Pursuit, The Run, and another take on Most Wanted continue the legacy. If you have at least 2 GB of RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU, you'll be well equipped to enjoy these fast-paced races, with settings adjusted for your hardware. Get ready for explosive open-world action with Just Cause. The original Just Cause introduced chaotic, sandbox-style gameplay, which was further amplified in Just Cause 2, and reached new heights in Just Cause 3. A low-end system featuring 2 GB RAM, integrated Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core processor should handle these games fine, especially if you fine-tune your graphical settings. Dive into historical adventures with Assassin's Creed. Starting with the original, the series quickly built on its narrative with Assassin's Creed 2, expanded into Brotherhood with Brotherhood and Revelations, and took a dramatic leap in Assassin's Creed 3. These games can be played on a PC with 2 GB RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU, though you might need to lower graphics details on some entries. Few franchises have reshaped open-world gaming like Grand Theft Auto. Starting with GTA 3, moving to the neon-lit Vice City and sprawling San Andreas, evolving through the more modern GTA 4, and reaching new heights with GTA 5. A minimum of 2 GB RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU will let you explore these iconic cities. Just be sure to tweak settings for a smoother experience on older hardware. Experience the thrill of horror and survival with Resident Evil. The series starts with Resident Evil 0, ramps up the action in Resident Evil 4, and escalates the tension in Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. These games typically run well on systems with 2 GB RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core processor, making them accessible for low-end setups. For those who love superhuman abilities and high-octane action, the Prototype series, comprising Prototype and Prototype 2, offers a wild ride with destructive gameplay and fluid transformations. If you're rocking a PC with 2 GB RAM, integrated Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU, these fast-paced action games should run comfortably. For over-the-top action with a humorous twist, Saints Row delivers. Starting with Saints Row, the series evolved through Saints Row 2, then the third, and reached peak absurdity with Saints Row 4. A low-end system with 2 GB RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU is enough to enjoy these zany, action-packed games with some graphical adjustments. Swing into action with the Spider-Man series. Begin with Spider-Man, continue the web-slinging adventure in Spider-Man 2, enter Electro and Spider-Man 3, and then experience the reboot with The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. These titles are designed to be accessible, and with a system boasting 2 GB RAM, Intel HD graphics, and a dual-core CPU, you'll be able to swing through the streets without any hitches. Just adjust the resolution and effects as needed. Far Cry 1, 2, and 3 are classic first-person shooter games that can run smoothly on a low-end PC with 2 GB RAM and an Intel HD dual-core processor. Far Cry 1 is set on a tropical island where you play as Jack Carver, fighting mercenaries and mutants, and it runs easily due to its lightweight engine. Far Cry 2 takes place in a war-torn African country where you hunt down an arms dealer known as the Jackal, and it performs well on low/medium settings. Far Cry 3 offers an open-world experience on a dangerous island where you play as Jason Brody, fighting pirates to save your friends, and it remains playable on low settings with reduced resolution. Lowering graphics settings ensures smoother gameplay across all three games. That wraps up our look at some of the greatest game franchises, from military shooters and epic RPGs to high-speed races and explosive open-world adventures. We've broken down each series along with a set of low-end PC system requirements, so even if you're not rocking the latest hardware, you can still enjoy these classics.